Here live again for the third time. Our moderator and computer genius is having some technical difficulties with the computer that he's been. We all met to test this, by the way, to make sure that it will work. So that when it was time for it to work, that it would work, but it's not working the way we thought it would work. But it's working now. So we're here. And my name is Niko House, host of the political radio show Mikasa Sukasa, where I take the complexities of politics and make them a little bit more palatable for those of you who don't care about politics and probably should care, and those of you who playing out just don't understand the stupidity we are faced to deal with every day. I am also one of the three creators of the DNC fraud suit. I'm sure many of you know about that, but if you don't, we're suing the shit out of the DNC, and we're taking pleasure every minute that we're a part of it, as long as it makes them cringe. So that's about me. I'm sure the other gentlemen want to introduce themselves as well. Jamarl.
All right, so my name is Jamarl Thomas. I have a show by the same name, Jamarl Thomas. I typically call it the Progressive Soapbox, so you can find me under either one. My show is, I have to be honest, I have a hard time defining my show. It goes from politics to philosophy to culture to race, gender. It's pretty much anything. It's heavy, brutal analysis. If Niko is saying he's making it simplistic, I'm making it more complicated. We're being honest. But look, it's brutally honest. So if nothing else, you will get a wider context of what you're looking at in this honest, analytical way. That's the basics of my show. It's somewhat philosophical. It's somewhat just brutal logic. So that's me.
And my name is An0maly. It's not my birth name, but that's enough for now. I feel like I already said that joke, but it's a
but it is for the live audience.
It's still funny, man.
I'm a news analyst and a hip hop artist. I do music, and then I talk about politics, life, race, religion, gender, political correctness, just everything, anything that comes up. And basically, I started because the news was just so dishonest. So I felt like someone had to be a little more honest. So that's
just a little. It's just a little dishonest.
Just a bit.
So what are we starting out with today, gentlemen? I can't remember.
Well, mine. Well, it depends on who you want to go first.
Yeah.
You're the moderator.
I'm the moderator. I thought Imam was the moderator.
You started. I assume that the starter is the moderator.
Oh, okay, so I've been given moderator responsibilities. So I think we're going to keep. I don't know. I kind of want to address this issue in the middle of it, but we'll start with it. Let's get it fuego. Yo, so yeah, Bill Maher said, "Nigga, oh my God, what the hell, bruh? You can't say that, dog." So that's
I saw what he said, and I saw Senator, and like I said, I'm going to take an unenviable position on this. And like in my video, I even made a video on it because I read an article that somebody wrote, and it pissed me off. Now, I don't like Bill Maher. I think Bill Maher has been an absolute asshole. He's been talking out of his ass for the past 3 or 4 months. I've done like 4 videos, scathing videos, going through what Bill Maher said and the ridiculousness of what Bill Maher said. But to call the man a racist, it's too far. No, he's not racist. Like yes, he says something, he went over a line. Fair enough. He's like, oh, right, that's the border. But his show, his stick is to live on the line. Like that's who he is. It's not like he's, some daisy in the wind. Bill Maher literally lives on the line. He's a show called Politically Incorrect. Now, in living on the line like that, what are the chances you're going to go over the line if you're continually dancing on the line? Well, you're going to go over the line sometimes, and you're going to get hit back saying, hey, that's the line. He apologized. He backed up off of it. Now, here's the catch. His apology was, look, I was in the flow of it, and I just went there. Now, that's a true apology, though. That's literally, if you look at it, that's what.
So I think Bill Maher is a very insincere person. I don't think he's well. That's a different question. I think he's a very insincere person.
Now he was in the moment. Was he or was he not in the flow of a joke? I mean,
first of all, my question is, how many times have you made that joke that was what came to your mind in the flow of the moment? That's the real question. How many times have you said nigga? Because it wasn't even like he used it in like, obviously I use it quite regularly, but it's okay. And I'll explain why it's okay. Because people are like, you can't say, the words, you can't tell me what to say and what not to say, and that word shouldn't mean. I'm like, no, yes I can, because here's why.
Well, no, don't misunderstand me. It's over the line. It's way over the line.
But my point is,
there's a difference between saying you went over the line and he's consistently a racist. I think those things are very,
I think
very
that
different.
Consistently a racist. I think that Bill is one of those apathetic racists. So he's racist in the same sense that Hillary Clinton is a racist. As in, she doesn't necessarily want to see black people benefited, in society, but she's not going to work hard to make sure that we are uplifted in the fight. Like, say that Bill pretends that he's not a racist, but like the conversation we had before, he doesn't care about Haiti. He doesn't care about Honduras. He doesn't care about the Middle East. He's in his
No.
He doesn't care.
I could not disagree with you more. The whole thing of this idea of throwing races around at that point is somewhat of a slur. It destroys the meaning of the word racist. If you want to say that, if you want to say that he's apathetic, if you want to say he's apathetic, that's fine. If you want to say that none of those people care about the other people, that's fine. But understand, it's not just blacks. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else either. It's not like he's picking that out the bunch and saying, I care. You honestly think that Hillary Clinton, Obama, when he was in office, gave 95% of the wealth to the top 1%. Do you honestly think that Hillary Clinton wouldn't have did the exact same thing? And if you're giving that much wealth to the top 1%, it's only 13% of us in this country, meaning the majority of the people who are getting screwed over were going to be white. So saying racist at that particular point doesn't apply. It has nothing to do with races, everything to do
with here's my question. Oh, but I want to hear An0maly's opinion on this. We've been talking over it.
Sounds good. I'll say I'm not a fan of Bill Maher. I think he suffers from...
I don't like him either.
I think he suffers from modern day fake liberalism, which is this idea. You support Democrats and you support Hillary Clinton. You're not racist, not sexist. You're a great person. And all he does is lie. He had Cornel West on, who tried to tell the truth, and he called him not an intellectual. One of the smartest in the United States. I don't know that he's. I don't know if I would call it racist, but to me,
Thank you.
I would say it's over the line. I think.
Yes, I agree.
He's dangerous for multiple other reasons. Just because he's so ignorant and he's got so many people following him because he's crude and rude and kind of cool, but he's leading the sheep to the slaughter. And I think it's showing the hypocrisy of people who support him, because if Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, or literally anybody on the right would have said that, they would have been immediately fired, attacked by Rosie O'Donnell and everyone. But he says it, and I was reading the comments on Huffington Post, and they were like, no, Bill's a big leader of the resistance. And I was like, man.
Shit, Bill is not a big leader of the resistance.
I think he's a clown. I think he's dangerous. I think he went over the line. And
he went over the line. He did go over the line.
I definitely think if anybody on the right would have said that, they would have been fired. So the fact that he's able to keep his job, and all these people who act like they care about racism, like the modern day liberals, they tend to be the most racist to me, because it's like forced. It's like you take somebody and stand next to them and be like, look, I'm not racist. Like that's insincere. There's not a lot of...
I'm gonna put it like this, and this is for Jamarl. There's more than one type of crime. There's a crime that you commit with your own hands, and there's a crime that you are biased. You're looking at the crime, you're watching it commit, but you did nothing to stop it from happening. Nothing in your power anyway. And Bill Maher is a racist in that sense of the word racist. He's not like a flag waving, a Confederate flag waving, underall wearing, Trump, a traditional stereotype of what the American person believes is. But when you say that Hillary would, what was the word he used? Light years better than Donald Trump on Haiti. Light years better than Donald Trump on Honduras. When she's in fact
just not important.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But it doesn't matter if he's ignorant in his mind. I can be ignorant. Those people don't matter to me. However, like I said, if France, I bet he'll do a cover story on France if they were bombed today. He did a story about London when they were bombed, primarily white population. But Haiti, Honduras, Venezuela, countries where brown people primarily reside, he has no interest in. And lack of interest is just as racist, although it be a racism derived from apathy, it's just as racist, because that compassion, if that person looked like you would have more for them. And that is a type, because it's inherent in power. And that's where racism comes from. Discrimination is one thing, and whatever, Bill Maher probably does discriminate a lot, but that's different than racism, which power is inherent within. And the reason that he's able to say, I don't care that they look like me, or I don't care what's going through or happening to them, is because one, they don't look like him. Two, he doesn't agree with them ideologically, as far as the Middle East is concerned. And so when you have that situation, it's I know we want to say it's not racist because he didn't hold anybody back or oppress them. That's a different type of racism. But we're not so, I feel like we're not so simple-minded that we can't recognize that there are multiple levels of racism, and especially in the neoliberal world, they manage to manifest racism in a completely different way than what we're traditionally used to defining.
All right, so how about this? Let's say this. I have a word.
Right.
And when I use that particular word, I give it a meaning. I infuse a meaning in that particular word. And ultimately, everybody have a certain understanding of what that word is. So you have 10 people, everybody have a somewhat of a similar understanding. Mm-hmm. Now, if somebody else takes that word and stretches it and contorts it to try to fit a particular narrative, well, that word tends to lose meaning. The point I'm getting at is you're stretching races to the levels that it loses meaning. You're contorting the word to make it look into something that it's not. You could say, yes, he's apathetic. Go on, right on. You can even say that he's ignorant in regards to what's going on in Haiti. I'd make the case that Bill Maher doesn't know anything about what's going on. So
my question then would be, do you believe systematic racism is a thing?
Systematic racism is a thing. I mean, if you're looking at court systems,
that's stretching the definition of racism, because that's racism in a different way. That's stretching the word of direct racism, because systematic racism is indirect racism. It is a lack of attribution to the realities of race in certain systems or certain projects or certain careers or education and things like that. Sometimes it does involve direct racism, but systematic racism is very indirect and off racism. Wouldn't that be stretching and contorting the word?
You're morphing that word into something that it's not. That's my point.
But if you believe in systematic racism, then why is apathetic racism?
But you understand, wait. But you understand you've even added systematic racism. Systematic. You're making a distinction using the word systematic. Yes. So yeah, I do believe in systematic racism. That's fundamentally a different thing. Racist.
So what's the difference between saying systematic racism and apathetic racism? Now, it's not what he said wasn't meant to be racist. So don't confuse that. I don't think that he meant it in a racist way. I don't think that. But I do believe that Bill Maher does, because he's an elitist. He does see himself above particular people. He is an Islamophobe. And when you are an Islamophobe, it's usually inherent of one of two things: allegiance to religion or allegiance to your own self or cultural identity.
It's cultural identity. It's cultural identity.
Yes, but it's cultural identity. White privileged asshole male. That's his identity. Who does he identify with? He identifies with me and you? No, or else people want to cuss his ass out for saying nigga. Does he identify with the Latino group? He doesn't identify with them either. He identifies as a white, rich, privileged male. Period.
He may be white and privileged, but what does that have to do with him being a racist, particularly in regards to this?
That's what I'm saying. When you feel like you have the power to well, no, damn the word, because it ain't even about the word. With Bill Maher specifically, it's as simple as this. When London was attacked or when France was attacked, primarily dominated by white people, especially if it's by Muslims, Bill Maher would be the first to be first and quick to attack it or to talk about it, excuse me. But when people are going through very similar tribulations in black dominated nations, he will talk about all the mess up that Trump's doing, because they should be everything is, it's harder. But when he like every politician count, if Bill Clinton office and was doing what she's been doing to Middle was doing what she's been doing, was doing what she has been doing in Honduras, would he still approach the situation the same? No. And you know how you know? Because he's told us. He said that it doesn't matter what she's done there. And the only reason it would not matter to you is one, money, because they don't have enough money for you to care, and two, systematic racism. Because we've been taught that Haiti doesn't matter.
He's absolutely terrified Or 3, he's terrified of Donald Trump taking that office.
I want to say
taking office of what?
I mean, put it this way. What I'm saying, he is probably terrified of Donald Trump taking that office. Do you realize for the past 6 months, he's been screaming at the top of his lungs about Trump?
What is Bill? Explain this to me. What is Bill Maher terrified of?
No, but you're saying that just because he's apathetic, that he's somehow racist. I don't think people, just because they're apathetic, they're all of a sudden racist. I mean,
because when you are benefiting from the status quo is systematic racism. And if you are benefiting from the status quo, that is incentivizing you to not pay attention to the majority,
about 30 or 40%. I am benefiting from the status quo. I am not necessarily rich, but I have a house, I have a wife, I have the American, whatever.
That's not
a lot of people are benefiting from the status quo. You're not benefiting from the status quo. All of these people are
you're benefiting through the status quo. There's a difference.
I
benefited through the status quo because I went to the military, because I retired out, and I was lucky enough to be mentored through my younger years in my adulthood. But the status quo, believe, is created to stop minorities from being successful. That's the reason we still rely on property taxes to determine what fucking school district is funded. White people have all the best school districts. It's not a coincidence.
Just to put a finer point on this, there's everybody. If that's true, then all of America. You understand that the majority of the population of the world lives off like $10 a day. You don't live off of $10 a day. The American, even though half of the country of America,
the world or the nation,
of the world. Okay,
I'm saying that you can't compare the world to the United States.
Wait. I'm saying your standard of living, for the most part, dwarfs most of the rest of the world. You are living off of the status quo yourself. Are you being racist under your definition of being racist?
Me living off the once again, you're still confusing it. Living off of the status quo and living through the status quo.
You're making it.
I was able to benefit from the quote unquote status quo by finessing it my entire life. Like, that's what it's the same thing. If you know how black people largely finesse the status quo by joining the military. A lot of people who are well off as minorities now, Latino or black actually, did it because of the military. And some people, a very small minutia of people, were cycled through the college system and found their way through the corporate world.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just making the point that I'm just making the point that under your definition, everybody who's living a decent life is living off the status quo and is essentially racist. You're
living off the status. You're twisting my words. Living off the status quo is not the same thing as benefiting directly from the status quo in every way, form, or fashion. You are trying to tell me that Bill Maher,
doesn't exist.
White male, is it holistically benefiting from a white male from wealth? Is it holistically benefiting from the status quo?
I'm making the point that in comparison to the rest of the world, so are you.
Let's switch on.
About the rest of the world.
Let me get a word in.
How can you not talk about the rest of the world?
All right. Let's move on. Let An0maly get a word in, and then we'll go on to the next one.
Let me say my piece. I'm here. I'm not here to just, listen to people yell for an hour. Let me see. We'll move on. But I want to say Bill Maher, Hillary Clinton, Democrats, social justice warriors, they're all part of this huge group that they parrot what the media tells them. They parrot the racial things and the religious things and the monetary things that they feel are important. But as you both said, they ignore things in Haiti because they don't know about it. To me, I don't think they mean to be racist and sexist, but I think these people that think they're fighting racism, like Bill Maher, tend to be the most racist and sexist and also oppressive because they live in this narrative that is just so dishonest, where what Hillary Clinton did to Haiti, you'll never hear about it because they're actively trying to suppress the information of what she stole, the people she did, possibly the children that, she snatched up from there. So these people like Bill Maher, I think he's such a sociopath and he's so ignorant that he falls into that racist category. But anybody that blindly just hates on Donald Trump, funds Hillary Clinton, and acts like these things don't exist, is an absolute sociopath. And that includes him. People at some of the people, the Young Turks, where it's like, are you trying to help people or are you pretending to be a social justice warrior to wrangle in the sheep of all races and religions to then point them towards something that is systematically racist? So I think there's something about him. He definitely thinks he's too cool for school, where he could say things that he probably shouldn't say. But I definitely think the bigger picture there in the Democratic Party and people like him they ignore real racism, they ignore real sexism, they ignore real oppression, and they, just shill for Democratic candidates. So, that we could debate about how racist that is or not, but that's the main problem I see there. We can move to the next segment.
Yeah, what's the next segment, Ebon? I forgot.
That was yours.
Is it mine? What was mine?
Yeah, that's yours.
Let me check. I got it right here. Give me a second. Oh, hold on. Ebon, is there another link? Because it didn't come up. Is there a message?
That was the private one, so this is public. So it's a different one.
Okay, man. I think I shared the wrong link. Oops, sorry, people. But give me a second.
So the topic that you want to move on to is progressives being smeared, like independent media being called fringe.
Oh man, yeah, that's fun. Me and Jamarl should probably both.
Yeah, the link is unavailable. Damn.
I'm not. Okay. Yeah, you saw that too, right?
Yeah, I just
you want to start us off on this one?
Yeah, send me that one. Well, somebody said.
An0maly, you want to start us off on that one? On progressives being smeared? Have you had to deal with that, or have you seen anything?
Absolutely. I would say I get, like, depending what I talk about, people call me white supremacist, conservative, and sometimes I'm
Jesus Christ,
liberal cuck or whatever, depending if I talk about the environment, social justice, or like some things. But I get both sides because I really don't have a preference. But absolutely, I think progressives need to realize that them, along with these sane conservatives, the people that are rising above the Democratic and Republican Party, they'll group anybody together. And, when it's convenient for the Democrats, they'll use the progressives and Bernie Sanders. But I think everybody needs to understand these people that control the media, that control the world banks, that control the United States, they want to control the flow of information. And a true progressive is too honest and too open-minded for their liking. So I've seen Jimmy Dore get smeared, H.A. Goodman. I want to warn everybody, and it tails into my segment of trying to get everybody united, but libertarians, conservatives, progressives, you guys are like, if you don't say what they want you to say, they're going to group everybody together, and they're definitely going to try to silence and smear everybody. So I would love to see more people from both sides really come together, because it's like systematic. They'll call you a neo-Nazi, a white supremacist when it comes time just to group you in that category. I've noticed them doing that. They call people alt-right, while there are some absolutely, weird racist people on that side. A majority of them are not. They're very open-minded, and they use that titling to smear because they know that it goes with people's emotions. Like, oh my God, they're racist, let's silence them. They did that to silence everybody on Google. That's why all the Google monetization is declined. They said one alt-right person, and now they're silencing all people, or they're demonetizing all politic talkers on YouTube. So I think I see both sides getting smeared, and I think any free-thinking, open-minded person needs to, get outside their bubble of their title and just realize that any good people are going to be smeared here and now, because they definitely don't want an honest dialogue happening. So I see it all the time, and it's definitely an issue.
I 100% agree with you. I feel like this is a trick that I've learned just being in progressive journalism for the last year and a half. If you see an article start to smear someone and they actually don't provide any facts, or at least any facts to contradict what, the facts that the person the article is smearing had presented, then you should go look that person up and probably subscribe to their channel, because they're probably telling you the truth. There's very few times that I agree with Sean Hannity. As of late, he's been a little bit more palatable, but it's very few times I agree with him. But with the Seth Rich situation, all he said was, hey, Kim.com, come on to my show and present the evidence that you have. Talk about it. Everybody's like, no, we don't even want to give Kim.com a platform. Whoa, wait a minute. Now, if any of my family members ever died, and if somebody, especially of that prestige, ever comes up and says, hey, I have evidence, I would like to be the one to determine whether that evidence is fallacious or not. Why does once Kim.com came out and said he had evidence, there were smear articles everywhere. Same thing with Tulsi Gabbard. when Tulsi Gabbard came out as super progressive, turning over a new leaf, smear articles everywhere. Bernie Sanders, smear articles from the very beginning. And if you haven't noticed the pattern, and it's a very simple pattern to notice, they are coming at anyone who speaks the truth, anyone who challenges the status quo, or anyone who challenges, I don't want to say the New World Order, because it's not a New World Order. I don't know why people think it's new. It's been the World Order. What's happening right now is we're just being woke up to. That's all. There's nothing different. We're in an information renaissance, and I feel like an intelligence renaissance, where everybody's becoming more awake and aware of what's in front of them, which is they're trying to screw us over, and they think that they're smarter than us. They know how to work their system better than us, which is why they've been able to get away with it for so long. But we're much smarter than they are. Case in point, Hillary Clinton. You just got beat by Donald Trump. So, we have the advantage. But hey, what do you think, Jamarl?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know but whether we're smarter than them or not. I think you have people who put it this way. I think a lot of this stuff boils down to an anonymous system of sorts. You have something that just kind of, these guys are trying to accrue cash and power. And accruing cash and power, you do things that you reach into the political system. As the political system goes on, you pass laws, regulations that benefit one over the other. Problem is, in any particular society, as society gets worse, people start looking for other things to do. So yeah, you are going to have people who kind of spring up and start, hey, this looks a little weird to me. This doesn't look right to me. This way of things, the way that things are going doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem to benefit us. You're going to have societal strife. You're going to have people, truth tellers, springing up in that sense, just by virtue of how things go.
Every generation. I don't know if you're all familiar with Russian history, but this is actually what caused the Soviet Union to crumble. It wasn't fucking Ronald Reagan saying,
Ronald Reagan.
Gorbachev, tear down that wall. No, bro, they had already made the decision to tear down that wall months before that.
A lot of people still believe that, right? That's the sad.
Oh yeah, I know. I had to first their bubble. Reagan was literally coming in at the end of the Soviet Union. Had nothing.
So the balloon in the budget using the dumbass war system.
Ronald Reagan was out there like this at the strip clubs, y'all. He was throwing our money from Social Security, hey, Treasury got it, or no, he was throwing our money from Treasury, taking it from Social Security, hey, trickle down, baby, trickle down these economics, throwing it in the club out there with Drake and Juicy J.
It's the worst lie that's ever been perpetrated on the American public. Trickle down economics. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But the intelligentsia movement was what destroyed the Russians, because the Soviet Union used, they tried to get rid of information. Any information, that's why they spotted on you so much. Information is the strongest asset we have. And with the intelligentsia, there was this enlightenment period in Russia, and they started telling people how they were using propaganda, how they were being, propagandized, and what's better, and how that's actually not communism. They just used Marx's name because they knew that they loved Marx and things like that. And they was telling us what was happening in the United States and explaining that the West wasn't so bad, although the West was damn near as bad when it came to propaganda. That's a different discussion for a different day.
Yeah, the West was just as bad. I mean, both it was on both sides.
Yeah.
It was
we're kind of living in Cold War Russia right now, in case you didn't know.
We are.
Just have a lot
That
more,
I agree with.
But people think that we're that much better off in Cold War Russia. Yeah, it's not as cold here. That's about it. But people are losing jobs every day. People are starving. People, at least they had healthcare in Cold War Russia. They don't have that here. We don't. You were like, but everything's controlled by the state. Yeah. Who controls your healthcare? You're taxed if you don't buy health insurance. At that point, what else are we? If we don't have control of our finances, we don't have, Bank of America stole billions from y'all. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, I'm still waiting for that court case. I haven't heard it. You heard? Y'all seen the court case for Bank of America yet? No. Won't see one. So but when I say we're living in Soviet Russia, I mean with the propaganda. It is disgusting. It's because it's not just propaganda. They don't even demean Russia. They just are relying on the same sentiments that most Americans harbor from Russia in 1970. That's what they're basing on. Did you see the March for Truth? They got a bunch of like Russian, Soviet Union, USSR flags. I'm like, bro, that's not even Russia's flag anymore.
It's not their flag. That's Russia, not the Soviet Union. Jesus Christ.
And then as soon as you say, well, okay, and this is, I do not believe Russia. If you're any of you, like, I don't believe anything about Russia at this point that any of the mainstream media talks about. They have their issues like every country does, but Putin is no worse than what Obama was in a lot of ways. So
we had literally.
No, I was listening. Go ahead.
Last topic.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, that's it. If you hear somebody talking trash about us because we're telling the truth, or anybody for that matter, because we're saying something to disagree with, and they don't give you hard facts as to why not to believe us, subscribe to that page, because that's where you're gonna get your news from. It's gonna be accurate. What's the last? Oh, it's your topic. An0maly, go ahead.
All right, got you. So it's kind of on that same topic of that, but it is trying to unite, and I think the Seth Rich case kind of did a good job of that. Conservatives and progressives got on the first page for a while, but something I've noticed, I supported Bernie Sanders, I voted for Jill Stein, and currently I would say I support the president. I'm not thrilled with a lot of his decisions, but I like, just as we were talking about, I'll say I like that he's saying that the media is the enemy of the American people, because all of these things we just talked about, it's straight out of the Minister of Propaganda of Nazi Germany's playbook. He said, you repeat a lie enough times, it becomes true. And this is what we're dealing with, the mass control of information. And something I noticed, I listen to people like Jimmy Dore. I'll listen to the Young Turks, H.A. Goodman, Tim Black. I listen to what you guys have to say. And then I'll also listen to conservative side, people like Mike Cernovich, like Alex Jones. And one thing that really strikes me that it seems like a lot of people can't ever really come to grasp on both sides. You have, Jimmy Dore, I believe, spit on Alex Jones. That's how much they hate each other. But
I think that's just some money beef, to be honest. That's beef, like, they ain't got nothing to do with it. They pretend like it's about progressivism.
I see the similarities there. I see the overlapping.
Yeah, exactly.
There's things that Jimmy Dore talks about that Alex Jones won't will himself. He won't talk about. And then there's things that Alex Jones will talk about that Jimmy Dore just won't talk about because it's not politically correct. So I see the massive similarities coming from there. And I think a lot of people, conservative and progressive, all they do is argue, when in reality, everybody wants the same things. They just have different strategies of getting it. And things like border security and the refugee situation, progressives don't want to talk about honestly. And things like capitalism and race and environment are things that conservatives don't want to talk about honestly. So they both have their strong and weak points to me. But I will notice, as I say, as a person that is kind of on the fence of everything, I see both sides. I really think the true revolution will come when these sides come together, as they have over Seth Rich, and also give both news platforms a chance, because I know a lot of conservatives that reached out to me that love H.A. Goodman because he's just raw, accurate. They love Jimmy Dore, and there's also a lot of progressives that like Alex Jones, because once they give his whole platform a chance, they can disagree with some things, but I would love to see personally, and it's something that I do on my platform, that's why it's grown a lot, is
Alex is some of his rhetoric, bro. I'd be like, bro, did you really have to say that? Because you were on such a roll. And then he said something, they want to love the jihadists. The jihadists. I'm like, oh, sweet baby Jesus, here he goes.
What, remember Alex?
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, he's very Christian, I would say. Where I think he gets overboard when he goes on that. That's when I have to tune out, is when he gets too much in that zone and he goes overboard. But I will say, when it comes to terrorism, although I think the root of it is who's funding terrorism, and also what's happening overseas. Is it Saudi, Qatar, America, everybody? Probably all three. But he does bring up a lot of points that I find that a lot of progressives don't want to talk about, because there's been studies, people like Tim Pool who's went overseas, and he's saying that the refugee vetting system, and there's a woman who worked in it, they're bringing people over here with diseases. They're bringing over people here that are pro-ISIS, literally for money. It's a whole money system where if they bring over people, they'll get paid a couple $1,000s. Where is every single refugee? Are they just disease maniacs? Absolutely not. But
slightly skeptical.
No, I actually,
it's the American justice system.
You gotta have a false flag, right?
That there is a possibility that 60 to 80% of the people that they're bringing into Germany and France, are they pro-ISIS? It's a possibility, and I think
that's a lot, though. That's a lot.
I'm skeptical.
Maybe like 10 to 20%.
I don't think I'm not making this up. I'm saying this is a Muslim man who lives in Sweden. He said this. You could Google it.
No. So here's my thing about that.
Refugee himself.
McDonald's told me so. It's like, come on.
So no, here's my discussion. Here's what I have to say about that. There are also Syrians who say that they love Assad, and there are Syrians that say that they hate Assad. So
yeah, right.
I can't be like, oh, this Muslim man said they're about Islam. Let me too. Also know
you talk to a random guy.
Hard will blame black people for all their problems. So it's
that's not what I'm saying to completely agree with it. But if you're blocking out a whole perspective, then you're never gonna know about the dangers of the border.
I 100% agree.
I'm part of it. I have family from Mexico, and they liked what Trump was saying about. That's the first thing that made me think otherwise, because I hated everything Trump was saying. My stepfather, who's Mexican, who came over from Mexico at 13, he was attracted to Trump because of his border policies, because he's actually seen it. It's easy for an American that's never come over from Mexico or doesn't live near the border to understand what's going on. And same with refugees. It's easy for us to say, I love all religions and races, which, I have no problems. I'm not very religiously narrow, or, I have no racial quells of any sort, because I'm a normal human being. But they use that type of stuff. They play with our emotions, be like, you're not racist, you're not xenophobic, right? So yeah, just let 1 million refugees over that possibly aren't being vetted properly, or no borders, open borders, we love everyone, where it makes no sense to let millions of people in with no social security identity. It's a flawed system, the refugee situation, and it's being led by the people who created the refugee crisis. So people like Alex Jones, they're raising the question, did these people purposely create the refugee crisis to then, flood everybody's countries with refugees? Because who's behind we need to bring in more? It's the people like Hillary Clinton who literally created the refugee crisis.
I mean, that is very true. And I think that there is something to say about keeping your mind open to the reality. I mean, whether or not because neither side is going to be 100% accurate. There's no way in hell. But
there's no way. Sorry,
go ahead, Jamarl.
No, I was going to say.
Go ahead.
That's a little intense, dude. That's a little intense.
How so?
What's that cop that Trump has? I can't think of his name. They were almost saying that he killed the guy. It's like the cop doesn't like black people. He's African American cop.
Oh, the bald guy.
Random thing, just because the guy is black, that's the perspective of a large group of people. No, I don't necessarily take Trump.
An0maly. He's insinuating that there are a lot of Uncle Toms of every race, religion.
Exactly. And I'm not taking this thing where Trump is deporting these people in the same way that Obama was deporting these people. This stuff is hazardly. Well, one person got hit by a car. They pick the people up. The cop comes and asks them questions on whether or not they're legal. The person was illegal, and they're deporting the person. Gets hit by a car. That's the America that you're living in, and that's the America that Trump was putting out. And you're telling me that you're thinking that, yes, this is a pretty decent policy.
Well, so I'll be the moderator. I'm gonna play both sides. I'm gonna play both sides.
You can strengthen your borders. I'm not saying.
So let me just say. Go ahead, An0maly. Go ahead. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I want to say that. No. To me, I don't have a problem. I've never seen an immigration problem personally, but you have one side, Donald Trump, who's saying, I want to build a wall. I want to do something about it. I do think they're going a little overboard on it, but you have the other side, and Hillary Clinton, who said during the election, she just put a Mexican girl on her lap and said, I love Latinas. Like, when you have to choose one, I can't agree with everything ICE is doing, because I don't know. I haven't read all the stories personally, but I'm saying you have one side who acts like, literally Hillary in her emails says she wants open borders. You have one side that they want to call a travel ban a Muslim ban. And they don't.
Open borders for
countries in Libya and Syria. There's Mexico, there's cartels, there's crime. I'm not saying that what they're doing is right, but you have to choose between one side, Donald Trump, who's overdoing it and going overly aggressive, and another side, who's not talking about it at all. And it's going
Obama, do you know they were calling Obama the porter in chief?
No, absolutely.
Do you believe that Hillary Clinton was going to be somehow different than Obama in that sense? She was going to be Obama 2.0. She was going to be Obama 2.0. She's pandering. She's on Hispanic shows saying,
well,
yes,
let me say something to contribute to both of you guys. I believe that to a degree, both of you are right. So there is this sentiment, and that's in every, like I said, it's an Uncle Tom in every race, religion, and ethnicity. And I hate to say it, but there are Mexicans who they quote unquote ran away from Mexico for whatever reason.
Everybody goes to America because they can work here on minimum wage, and then they send them.
Let me finish now. But there are people who come here for all reasons. But there are Mexicans who come here and make a better life for themselves and say, hey, we should monitor the borders better. But the people who are coming over here, this is the issue with that discussion, and that's one of my problems with Alex Jones. The people that are coming over here, do you know that 70% of them are just overstaying their visas? They're not hopping the border. They're overstaying their visas. So yeah, we do want to listen to both sides. We want to control the narrative so that it's talking about the right things. Like
Alex doesn't even,
as immigration, as undocumented immigrants.
He talks more about the refugee crisis overseas.
Oh yeah. But I'm just using that as an example. But as immigration, refugee or otherwise, all undocumented citizens has increased. There has been a simultaneous negative correlation, which in this case is a positive thing, with violent crimes. So as undocumented citizens have increased, there's been a negative correlation with violent crimes, and they've decreased over time as these immigrants have come into the nation. So I think, and I've only learned that because I listen to Alex Jones or I listen to alternative media and alternative conservative, and then I'll listen to some crazy alt-right, like, let's let everybody in. The world is full of rainbows. Like, I'm very aware of a lot of people. We've pissed off a lot of people. The refugee crisis is unquestionably our problem and our cross to bear. So I'm one of those people who are like, yeah, I'm okay with a temporary travel ban that lets people who are supposed to be here remain here. But the problem, which is what Jamal's talking about, is the rhetoric behind it. Because the rhetoric sets the undertone, and the undertone sets pace for issues that we have to deal with along the way. Like the fact that we're even talking about Mexicans right now is an issue, because this should be an undocumented citizenry issue. But they're not going to walk up to Maria Sharapova and be like, are you Mexican? Do you have your papers? No. They're going to walk up to Jose Estee down the street and be like, hey, man,
I agree.
That little handlebar mustache a little bit too thick, bro. Where you from, man? So that's yeah, but I agree. That's the important thing. I feel like that's the important thing about listening to both sides. Because the worst thing that you can do, the worst thing that anybody can do in the progressive movement or the conservative movement, is to silence the conversation.
I agree too that there's a problem with his rhetoric. Absolutely, I think he does no favors for himself in the way that he speaks. And I find there's irony in the people that oppose him very greatly, that they think it's okay to blame Russians as if it's like the anti-Semitic movement back, that everything's Russian. So I think there's inconsistencies both there. But what I'm saying is I don't agree with the way he says. I don't even agree with certain things. But as far as the refugee situation and watching all sides and everything, I don't know for sure. But I think there is a possibility that these maniacs who run the world purposely destabilize these countries, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, Syria, to then possibly just fuck up the whole world. I just don't rule it out, because I know that's how evil they are. If they've done all the things that they've done, control the media, all the things that they've done to racist religions and just people of non-elites, I mean, I don't rule out the fact that they purposely piss these people off. And now they're pretending like everything's racist and sexist to completely not even acknowledge there's millions of people in the Middle East who want to destroy Western civilization because of all of the things that most liberal-minded people, they don't even know it existed. They don't even know we're in Somalia and Syria. They have no idea what even happened there. So it's not right, but I'm saying it needs to be a discussion that's not just, oh, it's a Muslim ban, it's racist, or, keep them all out, everybody, all Islamic is bad. Right now it's framed in that way where it's like either people are way too on the left side or way too on the right side. I would look
here's what I understand. It's kind of out of left field, but I think that's what's so important about a president and a figurehead, because people pretend like a president is nothing but a figurehead now. But it is important because, Trump, people don't know. Trump and Congress are actually at odds, or Trump and the legislature in general are actually at odds more often than what people think. The Congress is shit. The Senate
doesn't like him.
Trump is actually in the process of trying to pass mandatory parental leave, so paternal and maternal leave, once the mother gives birth. That type of stuff is stuff that Trump does in the background. The budget isn't the best, but he's actually done some good stuff with the budget as well. So when you're talking about for example, with the medical situation, they're saying that millions of Americans are going to lose health care, and that is factually true. But the other side of that is they're going to be able to get affordable health care. So versus being stuck where they have to pay $600 to $700 a month plus a $3,000, $6,000 deductible per family member, they're going to lose their health care, but now you have the option to pay $200 with a $300 or $400 deductible. So those are the nuances that we need to be discussing, but the figurehead portion of that is important because now nobody wants to discuss the nuances of Trump because he walks around saying Muslim ban and, you got to get the Mexicans out and, they're bringing their rapists over here. Like, you can't say stuff like that and then expect people to want to take you seriously, even though you're right, as objective,
it's better than someone who lies to your face. That's what I'm saying. To
break
exactly.
You need exactly. I would rather have Trump is easy.
You got to have some blunt force truth. Where he doesn't speak right, he doesn't word it right, and he's honestly an idiot for doing that because he's never going to get all of the people's support that he wants to. But I see what he means. He's not saying all people coming over. It is true. We want to think that everyone comes over is just a great citizen. Most of them are. Like I said, my family's Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican myself. But people think that everybody who comes over just works and is great. Mexico's the second most dangerous country. There's a study done recently. There's cartels. People messaged me on Facebook last week, said An0maly, a Spanish dude from California, said my brother's raping his own kids. Can you help me? No, I'm not.
That's not a thing.
Guys, let's stop, end it, and we can continue on different discussion topics another time. You guys want to do your?
I got another show I got to do too. So it's been a pleasure talking with you, gentlemen. Definitely,
great.
Definitely got to do this again soon.
Definitely.
All right, guys, it was fun. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, take it easy, guys.